Okay, so the second match of the Women's Euros of 2022 took place at St Mary's. The first half was a bit of a disaster for Northern Ireland. Norway took advantage of some very naive play, and yes, there is a gap in quality. Let's be brutally honest. Norway are one of the better of the women's sides. There's a reason why they've won this competition twice. They are one of the early trailblazers of the women's game in the 80s and the 90s. And Northern Ireland, this is their first ever major tournament in the women's format of the game. Obviously, in the men's game, Northern Ireland got a great history, but in the women's game, this is their first tournament, and you can see why. The first half was a disaster for Northern Ireland. They were 3-0 down by half time. There was a naivety to their play. And the way the Norwegians play, and this is what's very, very interesting, is they just play with almost like a team press, where their back line is further up the field. They win the midfield battle. They didn't actually have to play overly well in the first half to be 3-0 up. A combination of naive playing out from the back and poor defending has contributed to their 3 goals. The second half is a complete different story. It was far more balanced and far more even, but the game was already won by half time. The first 3 goals come in the first 31 minutes. Balkstad, Marnham, and Graham Hansen with 3 goals. The first goal comes from a throw in on the other side of the field. It's thrown in, couple of passes, it's spread out to the left wing. There's no one marking Balkstad, and it's a very good finish. Should the goalkeeper do better? Yes. Burns, the Northern Irish goalkeeper, had a very, very good game, but would want that one back. Down low to her right. That's something that is frustrating, but every goalkeeper has that kind of poor goal in them which they really want back, and that was very, very early on in the game. It was a powerful low shot, but you shouldn't be beating at your near post. So there is that one. Manham, the second goal, comedy of errors really for the second goal. You can see what Northern Ireland want to do, but they just didn't execute and looked a bit nervous while doing it. And the play breaks down. It's again the high press, that high press where all the Norwegian players are involved in the high press, and Northern Ireland turn the ball over. And yeah, we've seen it in the men's game as well. In men's matches with this type of goal where they're trying to play out from the back from a goal kick, and the opposition have got that high press and are full of confidence and full of energy and are more switched on. Happens more regularly than people realise, and you could see what Northern Ireland wanted to do, but obviously wrong time in the match, wrong opposition to do that style of play against. They will learn a lot. It was a bit of naivety with that second goal, and 2 goals in 3 minutes. That was a killer blow, and Norway left goals on the field. It's the best way to describe the Norwegian performance. They weren't clinical enough in front of goal for me, which is scary. Graham Hansen's penalty is a deserved penalty. Yes, there's a VAR check. Yes, it's a handball. Burns saves the penalty, mind. So, what is the power that's behind the penalty is why it's scored. If it was less power behind the penalty shot, it may be saved. So it's 3-1 by half time. 3-0, sorry, by half time. Nelson's goal just after half time really made the game interesting, and actually Northern Ireland played better after half time. It comes from a corner, and it's again a catalogue of errors defending, and basically when you've got to compete for the first and then the second ball, and that's what Northern Ireland do, is they compete for the first ball, they compete for the second ball, and eventually it's the third opportunity that it goes in. The goalkeeper makes a bit of a mess of it, but when you are playing behind a very dominant side, you've got to stay switched on as a goalkeeper. That didn't happen. whereas in last night's game with England, the goalkeeper stayed switched on and pulled off 2 very good saves in the second half. Here, the Norwegian goalkeeper's made a bit of a howler and trying to keep that out of the net. It squirms underneath that body, and therefore it's a goal. It's one of them again, much like Norway's first goal. The goalkeeper would want that one back. But Brighton and Norway go up the other end within a few minutes. It's a free kick, and it's a very, very good free kick. Very well placed. They use 2 Norwegian players in the wall to create a gap, and it's very, very good placement with a good amount of speed behind the shot. Not necessarily power, but speed and placement to beat Burns in the Northern Ireland goal. And as the game wore on, it was quite an open contest. The second half was more balanced. I think both sides gave it a good go in the second half. There was Northern Ireland seemed less nervous in the second half and were more calm in possession, had more of a share of the ball, and mixed things up a little bit more. They didn't just stick to plan A where they wanted to pass out from the back. They were more effective going long, more route one, bypassing the midfield because they were losing that midfield battle. Norway, they were comfortable by the second half, so they took their foot off the gas a little bit. It has been very, very warm today and very, very humid. That's obviously had an impact as well because you could tell that the pace of the game was catching up with the players. And therefore more gaps were appearing. It's a bit more open and it's a bit more end to end. But Norway, I think, left goals out there. If we're being honest, and against better opposition, that could prove crucial. Northern Ireland, that first 45 minutes is just a write-off. That second 45 minutes, they played much, much better. But this is their first major tournament in the women's format of the game. And yeah, 45 minutes they played well. 45 minutes was nerves, naivety, and well, if Norway were at their very, very best, that could have been 7, 8, or 9. So I think 4-1's a fair result considering that the second half was a very balanced 45 minutes, but the first half was an absolute disaster from Northern Ireland's point of view. They will take a lot from that as a lesson, and you never know, they might upset Austria because Austria didn't play badly last night, but they didn't play at their best either. And if Austria don't turn up or are slow starting in the next game, Northern Ireland have a chance to upset them. I think they showed enough in the second 45 minutes to prove that there's a reason why they qualified for this tournament. Norway, much like England, while they win, they have more in the tank. So that England-Norway game looks really, really interesting as an encounter, and is one of the more anticipated matches in the group stage. So there we go, Norway versus Northern Ireland finished 4-1. And thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.